absent. Wensky Villeneuve.
Here.
Robert Lewis.
Here.
Linda Purdue.
Here.
Annette Wright.
Here. I'd like to take a look. Are there any modification, deletions, or changes to the agenda?
No.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Jose Alvarez is absent. Christina Morrison is absent. Wensky Villeneuve.
Yep.
Be yes
Yes.
or no?
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
motion to approve the agenda.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Robert Lewis.
Here.
Oh,
Yes.
Thank you. Linda Purdue.
Yes.
Annette Wright.
Yes.
Thank you.
We only have one set of minutes from December 11th, 2024. Are there any modifications, deletions, or adjustments to those minutes? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
And a second?
Motion to approve. Second.
I said second. That's
Oh, okay.
First, second? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Jose Alvarez is absent. Christina Morrison is absent. Wensky Villeneuve.
here.
Be
Yes.
absent. Okay, thank you. Robert Lewis.
Yes.
Thank you. Linda Purdue.
Yes.
Annette Gray.
Yes. Agenda item number 5. At this point, we swear in anyone who will be speaking on any agenda items or public comments during tonight's meeting. Please rise and be sworn in.
Please raise your right hand. By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you. Please be seated.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on any items not on tonight's agenda? You'll have 3 minutes to do so. Okay, seeing none, we've closed public comments for the moment. There are no presentations at this time, and we do not have a consent agenda either, so that moves us to our quasi-judicial hearing. This hearing shall be conducted in accordance with the City of Delray Beach quasi-judicial rules. The applicant and the city shall be permitted to present their case. The public shall be allowed to speak for 3 minutes each, or a maximum of 6 minutes if the person represents an organization or a group of people who are present but agree not to speak. The City Commission board members, staff, and the applicant may be allowed to cross-examine a witness. The city or the applicant will be allowed to offer rebuttal testimony. That takes us to our first and only agenda item, A. And Ms. Alexa Howard for the city, can you please convey that to the record?
Thank you, board members. For the record, I'd like to enter file number 2023-206 for a level 2 site plan application with a parking reduction request. And the applicant is here today.
Okay, do we have any ex parte communication for disclosure before the applicant presents?
No.
None on my case. Okay, so our applicant is represented, is that Krista?
Yes.
All right, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, board members. Krista Nowicki with WGI, representing 1215 Milford Street. We are here tonight for 2 applications. One is a site plan, level 2, and a level 2? Level 2 site plan and a parking reduction request. So I'm going to start with just taking you to the location. We're right off Linton Boulevard in 95. It's a somewhat industrial developing area. Surrounding us, we have a car dealership or 2. There's some other industrial warehouses nearby and a few storage yards. So as I mentioned, the request being a level 2 site plan to construct a commercial warehouse style building with offices and mezzanine space. And in addition, we're requesting a parking reduction to reduce the parking by 1 space. Justification-wise for the parking request, we are required by code 7 spaces. We are providing 6, and an ITE parking generations manual study was done using the ITE parking generation rates. Actually says that 4 spaces would be sufficient, and that is 2 less than proposed, but again, compared to your code, it is 1 less. We also just want to point out that the spaces in front of the roll-up doors, and we'll show you some images in a few minutes, those spaces can be used for temporary parking as well, and sort of self-regulated by the businesses, but they are not designated spaces because they are garage door openings. And we also are providing 2 bicycle spaces. So just a couple of history here. Variance was received to provide a setback reduction from 10 feet to 5 feet on the eastern property line. And then also we received a waiver to have overhead doors facing Gwenzel Avenue. This was something that various other businesses in the area received as well, because they do all have that similar industrial warehouse style building with the overhead doors. So land use and zoning, we're in the MIC, that's what I thought it was, MIC zoning, and again, very similar to most of our surroundings with the north of us and the industrial area. This area is known as the Wallace Drive redevelopment area. This was a plan adopted by the city a little over 20 years ago now, and it is encouraging these types of uses of warehouse, light industrial, your office commercial, which again, pointing out to that access to 95, this is a perfect location for businesses that have a lot of deliveries. So a couple of pictures showing the area in the current conditions. We do have a single family home to our east, which is on the top of the screen, and to our immediate north is an outdoor storage use, and then across the street several warehouses. This is the site as it is today. There was a single family home here a couple years ago. It was demolished, and the the property still has the fence there, but it is vacant. Industrial area, again, these are a few more warehouses in the area that are very similar to what we're proposing, and they are just a block and a half away. In fact, I think we have the same architect. Here's our site plan. So overall, the site being a little under a half acre, we are proposing a building that is a floor area of 5,597 square feet. The FAR is well under the limit at 0.279. The highest point of the building would be 33 feet. So it's a 2-story building, as I mentioned, mezzanine space in the upstairs, which can be used for, additional office uses within the building. And there would be 2 tenant spaces here. And again, with the 6 parking spots, let me see if I can use the pointer. Okay, so here's our parking in the front. And as I mentioned, in front of the 2 doors, there is actually additional space that could be used, but we just can't stripe it as parking. We also have another slide here to show you some of the access from Gwenzel. These are the 2 tenant bay openings, mezzanine space upstairs, and right-of-way improvements. We're adding sidewalks around the space. I should also point out we did have a 12.5-foot dedication along Milford Street, so that took our property down about 1,500 square feet, which definitely affected, and was kind of actually why we asked for the variances, because we needed to shift the building a little bit in order to make it viable for access, as well as where the placement of the 2 driveways are. Being that it's a corner site, it's a little difficult with access and the distance from the corner. So it's where we ended up. And landscaping, we do have a lot of new trees. We've got 21 trees and 9 palms proposed, as well as shrubs and ground cover. And then along that eastern border, which is on the right side of the screen, there is also a little picket fence and 5-foot hedge proposed. I'm gonna turn it over to our architecture team. We have a few elevations and renderings, and we can, of course, answer any questions, but they may be able to give you more info on the architecture.
Good evening, board members. Jaime Mayo, H&M Architecture, 143 South Swinton Avenue, Delray Beach. So Kristen mentioned it, to say the least, this site was a little bit challenging. It's very tight, especially for an industrial building, and trying to get, the function and the use that's needed for these types of buildings. It's a very small building. We did our best to kind of combine the entry features, and obviously being on the corner, we kind of anchored an entry feature in the corner and then doubled up just to get a little bit more fenestration. And on the length of the facade, you can see the overhead doors kind of dominated a little bit, but again, it's kind of a use of the function of the building. But there is a lot of fenestration, a lot of play with the planes, a lot of recesses, as you can see, in the different colors between the blue and the white. Those are all recesses. We try to add as much glass as we can, where obviously there is no overhead door, but we got quite a bit of coverage in it, and some man doors on either side of the main entry feature. It's a little bit of a Art Deco, modern Art Deco, very neutral colors. The colors are a little bit off here. The color that you see on the bottom blue is more realistic. It's almost a blue-gray compared to the one up above. I'm not quite sure what happened with the rendering there, but it's also very similar design that we've done in other buildings in this park. We've done the Wallace Drive, one at Georgia Line, which are the two that Kristen presented before, and there's another one a little bit further down the street. So it definitely has the same kind of theme, design style that our firm kind of has created, and it's got a little coverage, eyebrows to give yourself a little bit more fenestration to the building. And that's pretty much it. I'm here to answer any questions you guys may have. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot about that. Yeah, so again, I went too quick there. Oh boy. I feel like I do this every time I'm up here. Oh, there we go. So like I said, that blue that you saw, I don't want to switch again, but this blue is a little bit off. That wasn't me. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Again, very simple, clean, good proportions, a lot of fenestration, kind of played with the different planes with the blue colors there to give it a little bit of a pop, and trying to hide the overhead doors as much as possible, but as you can see that they dominate the elevation a little bit, but there's not much we can do about that. You can fit probably like another 4 stalls in front of these overhead doors. The overhead door all the way to the left is actually about 24 feet wide. A little street view from the corner here. Popped up the entries, made a little bit taller than the main parapet, and you can see quite a bit of roof articulation for such a small little building. Am I done? No. I'm not sure. I think this building's maybe 100 feet long. Our firm does tons of these industrial buildings all over South Florida, and usually you don't see this much detail on them, but given the short facade that we had, we definitely added some additional fenestration so it wouldn't look too simple, and I've done it again, but I will leave it at this one. All right, thank you all.
Okay. All right. Ms. Howard for the city.
Thank you. Yes. And for the record, Alexi Howell, senior planner. This is for 1215 Milford Street, a level 2 site plan application with a parking reduction request. That's weird. So the site is located within the MIC zoning district. It's at the corner of Gwenzel and Milford Street. And adjacent to the west of that is industrial zoning district, and to the south and to directly to the south is automotive commercial. And to the east is an existing single-family structure within the MIC zoning district. The property is currently the property currently is vacant, and they're proposing a 2-story, 5,597 square foot warehouse and office building. So here are some. There's an aerial shot of the subject site. With some street view of the existing uses surrounding it. So to the west is an existing warehouse facility with the overhead doors you can picture on the left-hand side. And then to the bottom left is a view of the street at the corner, viewing the vacant site. And to the right of that is the existing single family to the east of the subject property. And so this has been ongoing application requests for about 2 years now. A demolition permit was issued to demolish the existing single-family home on the lot in 2022. And in 2023, just about when we received the application, because of the request of the building, a variance for the side along the east interior side for a reduction from 10 feet to 5 feet setback. And so that was approved in 2023 by the Board of Adjustment. And also with that application, a waiver was associated with it for the overhead doors. In the regulations, in the MIC zoning district, it's not allowed for overhead doors to face the right-of-way. And considering it's a corner property, it had to go before City Commission for the waiver. And so City Commission approved the waiver for the overhead doors to face the right-of-way in 2024. And so, in addition with that, so the site plan is also requesting a parking reduction of 1 space. And I'll get into that further. As part of the Level 2 site plan application, LDR Section 3.1.1 requires positive findings to the land use and the concurrency. So the land use and the zoning district is compatible, and as well as the concurrency, it meets concurrency with potable water, sewer, drainage, transportation, and solid waste. And we need positive findings to the consistencies with the comprehensive plan. Overall, the proposed development meets the comprehensive plan goals, objectives, and policies. And here we go into the required positive findings to the land development regulations. Overall, the site meets all the requirements, such as lot size, the maximum lot coverage, open space, setback requirements, bicycle parking, site visibility. The only request here that's not meeting the development standards is the parking. So overall, the site requires 7 parking spaces, and the proposal is for 6 total spaces. So they're asking for a 1 space reduction. So into the parking reduction, there is LDR section 4, 6, and 9F reduction. Request is allowed upon a acceptance of a special documentation by a professional engineer and a justification to justify the reason of the reduction. So as long as we receive that special documentation should justify the parking reduction, it can be requested to receive that parking reduction. Granted, the board finds positive findings to the request and justified. And so the justification was supported by a parking study prepared by the engineer. And the engineer used the IT parking manual, and the parking generation. And at the bottom left corner, here highlighted in red is the IT manual, and it starts with the City of Delray Beach requirements of 3 spaces per 1,000 for general industrial use, and then 1 space per 1,000 for storage and warehouse use. So overall, the calculation was total 7 spaces. And then the bottom 2 are from the IT manual, and they used general light industrial, and then another specific use for that is small office building / warehousing. And so based on the ITE parking generation 5th edition, each of those uses, the parking spaces were calculated as requiring 4 spaces for that overall square footage. So with that, the applicant is stating that the justification for the reduction is supported by this study with the IT parking generation manual requiring 4 total spaces. And so on the site plan, I indicated the 6 spaces. And so the reduction for 1 space is requested. I'd like to clarify too that the loading spaces that are in front of the overhead doors, those cannot be used for parking spaces. It is a required loading space, and so that is that is not part of the justification for the reduction of the parking spaces. It's based on the parking study that was provided by the engineer. So those loading spaces are required per code, and they are not to be used for parking. And so we get into the landscape. Overall, it's compliance with the landscape code. There's lush landscaping all around the perimeter of the subject lot. There's also a 10-foot landscape buffer that's required along Milford Street. And it's all incorporated with layers of hedges and ground cover and shrubs. So overall, the board must make positive findings to 4618E architectural guidelines. It must be in conformity with good taste, good design, and does not depreciate the appearance or value, and is in overall harmony with the overall proposed development. And here are the architectural style. As mentioned, it's modern in nature and simple. Yes. I'd like to mention too that the rear of it's not the rear, it's the side, the east elevation that's abutting the residential property. There are no proposed openings. That's because it's facing the residential, and to mitigate any negative impact, no openings were requested to not intrude into the single family home, and landscape a buffer is also proposed there. And so overall, that concludes the presentation. And
Okay. Is there anyone in the public that would like to make any comments regarding this project? Okay, seeing none. Does the applicant have any rebuttal for the city's presentation at this time?
Hi, no rebuttal. I just wanted to also let you know that the engineer of record and landscape architect of record are also here if there's any questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And does the city have any rebuttal? No? Okay. No. All right, so that takes us to the board. Mr. Villeneuve, would you like to start?
I don't have much questions. I do like the design, the color, and I'm okay with it. I mean, it's just 1 parking space, and yeah, I'm okay with it. So it's a yeah for me.
Okay. Ms. Linda?
I like the design also, and I don't have a problem with the 1 parking space. The only thing is that solid wall, are there 1 or 2 solid walls like that with no openings?
it is the
There's there's
Two.
one there,
For
and then on
the
the next
north.
slide, there was also another.
Yeah, the north end, which is facing the vacant property
It just,
to the north.
I know it's industrial and commercial and all those things, but it just seems, the front of the building's so nice. It's the side, I mean, it just seems cold to me. But that's an opinion, so, and you know what those are worth, so. Thank you, yeah.
Okay.
I have no problems with the reduction in parking space, and I agree the style of the building is nicer than a lot of them that are already there, so I have no problem with it.
Okay. I do have a question. The visibility from the residential property, what does that look like in terms of being able to see those two blank walls? How far, do you know how far the residential is from that?
Yeah, it's very small, the site that's backing up to it. It's kind of where it bends back over there. It's probably about 10 feet away, I believe, but we also provided quite a bit of landscaping along there. So you can see on the landscape.
Of the landscaping?
It varies, but there's also a 4-foot fence, a
Okay.
4-foot hedge, and then several palm trees and shade trees along back there too.
So minimal visibility from the residential, you would say.
I would say yes.
Staff agrees?
Yes, you see the building, I'm sorry. The structure, it's one story, what they are proposing, and they are providing like long trees and a buffer, and also a solid wall which will minimize the nuisances, noise, or any kind of effect from the industrial use, so we do agree with the analysis.
Okay, thank you very much. Those were my questions. I appreciate it. Okay, given that, I'm also okay with the reduction in one spot. And the architectural design is fine, given the limited visibility from the residential side. The walls doesn't concern me so much, given the responses to my question. All right, so who would like to make an attempt at a motion?
Okay, I move approval of the level 2, 2023-206 site plan, architectural elevations and landscape plan with a one-space parking reduction to construct a 5,597 square foot warehouse and office development located at 1215 Milford Street by finding that the request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and meets criteria set forth in the land development regulations.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second. Can you call a roll, please, Rochelle?
Jose Alvarez is absent. Christina Morrison is absent. Wensky Villanois.
Yes.
Robert Lewis.
Yes.
Linda Purdue.
Yes.
Annette Gray.
Yes.
Thank you.
Unanimous. Congratulations.
So just a reminder that the next meeting is February 26th, and the following one is March 26th, which is always the fourth Wednesday of the month. And Mr. Bennett just mentioned that Mr. Beal has just resigned due to other commitment, the board, and I just spoke to the clerk, and there will be perhaps a replacement next city commission meeting, February 4th. So we're expecting perhaps someone new, maybe February or March. And that's it for staff. Thank you.
Is this project updates or no?
No project updates.
All right, how about our board attorney?
Nothing this evening, Chair. Thank you.
All right, board comments? No? None? Okay. Happy New Year, and we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feel better.
Thank you. I got through with only one call.
Yeah. And I only sneezed twice, so.